The history of Lupe, La Union del Pueblo Entero, is closely tied with that of Juanita Valdez-Cox, its executive director. Juanita Valdez-Cox was born in Mercedes, Texas in 1947. At the time, her family lived in a small farming community where they would tend crops and raise cattle. Juanita and her brothers would help out their parents in the agricultural fields after school. It was there where she learned the adversity her family and other members in the community would face. They did not have access to clean water, hand washing stations, and restrooms. This meant workers would often fall ill from poor living conditions and constant exposure to pesticides. One of those workers, Maria, would end up hospitalized after being poisoned by a plane spraying pesticides on the farm fields. Thankfully, a revolt against abuses was brewing in the fields. Learn how Juanita became involved with the farm worker movement in Part 2. The melon strike of 1966 in Stark County set the stage for the farm workers movement in the Rio Grande Valley. The spontaneous strike caught the attention of UFW organizers who brought the union to Texas. The farm worker uprising inspired Colonia residents, many of them farm workers, to organize for better living conditions. Juanita's family and neighbors joined with Colonias del Valle Incorporated to organize and build a water supply system for her colonia. Meanwhile, farm workers slowly built their power in Texas with strikes, marches, lawsuits, and electoral campaigns. Until finally, in the 1980s, Texas farm workers won a cascade of victories, including drinking water, restrooms, higher wages, and pesticide controls. Invigorated from witnessing change in her community, Juanita would join the UFW as a community organizer under the leadership of Rebecca Flores. Her duties included organizing families from low-income and rural areas to raising awareness of the new legal rights farm workers won. This decision by Juanita set the stage for the transformation of the Texas UFW into what it is today, La Unión del Pueblo Entero. Learn what prompted Juanita to found Lupe in Part 3. The legal victories of the 80s highly motivated the movement. Organization by Texas UFW and Juanita brought improvements to the many injustices her family and many more encountered in the fields. But Juanita understood more work needed to be done within her community. Many families across the Rio Grande Valley lived in colonias or rural communities that lacked electricity, clean water, or paved roads. Juanita recalls that during her childhood, she needed to walk for miles while carrying jugs of water since her colonia was not connected to a water system. Fighting for the community soon proved to be tougher than ever before thanks to the many reactionary politicians elected during the late 80s and 90s. These politicians were anti-worker and opposed civil rights, slowing down the momentum the movement had built. Juanita turned to Cesar Chavez, who she felt was neglecting the valley due to the distance between California and Texas. During a visit to South Texas, Juanita expressed her feelings of alienation to Cesar. She recalls Cesar responding, "You're right. Who's gonna have to suffer through the lack of water? It's gonna be you. It's in your hands. You're gonna have to take it on." Juanita took these words as a challenge for Valley fan workers to see more in them than they could see for themselves. They didn't need to wait for heroes from California to come save them. Cesar was teaching Juanita the art of patience and organization. The farm worker movement has started with families like hers organizing and spanned decades before achieving protections for workers across the state. Transforming colonial neighborhoods would also require patience and the help of a large and mobilized community. Learn how Juanita transformed her community and Texas UFW into Lupe in Part 4. Cesar Chavez's message of patience and methodical mobilization continued to resonate with Juanita Valdez-Cox during the 90s. Her arduous work with the community granted her the role of state director of Texas UFW when Rebecca Flores stepped down to become the vice president of the national UFW. In her new leadership position, Juanita explored ways to combat the reactionary politicians that were constantly attacking laborers and lower-income communities. Her answer was to empower the members of the marginalized communities the same way the farm workers movement empowered Juanita growing up. This moment of realization led her to transition Texas UFW into La Unión del Pueblo Entero, or Lupe, a membership-based nonprofit. With the newly available resources at her disposal, Juanita focused on inspiring and training leaders of her community to organize and fight for equal rights, infrastructure, and immigration. Today, these leaders continue their work to improve the lives of the colonias and all families residing there. La Unión del Pueblo Entero fights for immigration, workers' rights, infrastructure, healthcare, education, and voters' rights. Lupe now has 50 staff members and more than 8,000 members, and its executive director, Juanita Valdez-Cox, continues to fight for all aspects of life that her family and herself lacked growing up. To learn more about Lupe and its victories, like and follow our page. We will be posting more videos exploring the victories of La Union del Pueblo Entero.